Magandang hapon po sa lahat po ng mga officers, members, trustees, at organizers po ng PhilExport. Ako po si Janet Toral. Natutuwa po ako makabalik kasi last time po nagtalk ako rito before the pandemic pa tungkol sa e-commerce. Ngayon, ang topic na natin, artificial intelligence na. Kanina binanggit ni Sir yung overview tungkol dun sa artificial intelligence at napakaraming news about it. So I guess let's start the ball rolling. Can you load my slides, please? Um, it was mentioned earlier that one of the hats that I wear is I'm the director and OIC of iMetrics Asia Pacific Corporation. And one of the reports that we produce every month is the Purchasing Managers Index in partnership with the Institute of Supply Chain Managers and Society of Fellows in Supply Chain Management. The primary user of our report is the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, no? And that is often used for economic reporting and forecasting. And we survey around 1,200 companies a month in manufacturing, retail, and wholesale, and services. And actually, I was discussing with Liza that perhaps we can also come up with a similar index for the export sector so that we can also look at things at a predictive level. So maybe I could give some numbers. Since we track the PMI, we also see the global numbers. And globally, everyone is in contraction. The Philippines is in contraction along with China, Vietnam, Indonesia. India is the only one beating the downturn, no, at the 57.6 index. So we are aligned with the manufacturing downturn that is happening globally, while India remains very strong. And for the overall perspective, we are also down from April. That indicates slower expansion across all sectors. Although the economy is still growing, but momentum has slowed, particularly in manufacturing. In the first quarter, we haven't felt it that much, in the Philippines, in comparison to our regional partners. But sooner or later, I guess we can say that we have catch on with the trend. For the manufacturing index, we are currently at 48.23, which is a signal for contraction in comparison to last month. Of course, as mentioned earlier, there's a drop in export orders, especially to the US, as the US also imposed a 17% tariff on Philippine exports. Although there are several input costs that have declined, particularly electricity and fuel, but since demand has weakened, we weren't able to maximize it as much. Although we are still positive but more cautious than in previous months. Normally, part of our survey, we usually ask the purchasing managers or the entrepreneurs participating in the study, what is your perspective for next month? Are we going to be better or not? I guess all of us have to be hopeful that next month will be better. Retail and wholesale is now returning to slow expansion. In the past, retail and wholesale was the one who's down. No? Household spending still driven by essentials. You can say that the early start of classes is partly contributing to this. Temporary election-driven slowdown is also easing and supported by credit expansion and stable services prices. I also asked for data about manufacturing exports. As you can see there, the overall manufacturing index dropped from 50.5 to 48.23. And across all export brackets, manufacturers experience weaker business activity with no group staying above 52. And the most export-heavy manufacturers saw a slight dip, signaling export fatigue or global headwinds. No? And so there's consistent pressure from this sector, no? With global demand, rising costs, and supply chain delays could be weighing heavily. Now, when you look at the services sector, when we try to analyze PMI to GDP, it's quite challenging. For other countries, PMI GDP is heavily influenced by manufacturing, but in the Philippines, it's a little bit different because our GDP is heavily influenced by the services sector. But anyway, we're down, from 55.62 in April, although still expanding, but momentum is weakening. But our strength areas remain in hospitality, travel, and finance. The IT BPO sector, its growth is tempered by US policy uncertainties. Although there's a lot of jokes when you watch the late morning shows, late evening shows in the US where they talk about President Trump releasing a mobile phone service where they said that everything is made in America, including customer service. I don't know if you saw that. Um, Transport and logistics benefited from lower fuel costs. Financial services saw positive impact from DSP rate cuts. For supplier deliveries, retail and services, there's slight improvement in lead times, while for manufacturing, delivery performance mixed due to global trade frictions and input adjustments. And for inventory, still lean across sectors while businesses are staying cautious. For price watch, headline inflation 1.3% year on year from 1.4% in April. It's the lowest in 5 years, driven by decline in fuel prices, rice tariff cuts, and strengthening peso. Um, but I could say that overall, we're fighting, right? And we're hopeful in the months to come. And for the service export size, as I mentioned here, firms with 26 to 50% services export share had the highest business index. And firms with more than 50% exports also recovered in May after dipping in April. And firms with no exports showed significantly lower business activity. So I guess the reason why I share that also so that you can also understand where I'm coming from when we talk about artificial intelligence, when we talk about cross-border e-commerce, digital marketing, among others. And for today, I hope that we can talk about the digital journey for artificial intelligence and how can it benefit export operations. We can also talk about pain points being experienced and what to invest in. And as mentioned earlier, we're trying to make this as user-friendly as possible and as confidence-building as possible. Yeah? And this matters now because the trade is changing. In fact, there was a lot of reports in the past weeks where even the AI experts are already saying that AI is moving at a faster rate. And some of the jobs that can be performed by people at an entry level can already be performed by artificial intelligence. So that is presenting a new level of challenge for all of us. And even marketplaces like Amazon, Alibaba are using AI in nearly every aspect of operations. In fact, even Lazada, Shopee are also using AI. The banks are also using AI to improve their customer service. And as export orders decline also, MSMEs also have to adapt quite fast in terms of how can we use AI to further improve our operations, improve our prospecting, improve our pricing, and make us even further competitive. You know, in the past, when we talk about cross-border e-commerce, the idea then was drop shipping or you actually export your products. Now, when we talk about cross-border e-commerce, we're now talking about print on demand and outsourcing the production to another country. So for example, if I create a design, instead of printing it using my 3D printer in the Philippines, I will give it to a 3D printer abroad and print it there and have it actually printed and be delivered. Same also for shirts, for books, what have you. Instead of being so obsessed and producing it here and then shipping it all the way there, now you copy the design and outsource the printing. And I think that's also how do you call it, a change in mindset, especially now as everybody's trying to improve their operations, especially for micro and small medium enterprises. So we're seeing AI being implemented across the supply chain. And in fact, I was recently asked by a business group, a foundation, as to how can we best introduce artificial intelligence to exporters. And what I would always say that is we must do a show and tell. So a show and tell in terms of how we can use AI for image generators. Did you know that a lot of people are now coming up with products with design, whether for print on demand or for 3D printing, without being artists at all? There are websites like Ideogram, you can check it out, IDEOgram, Ideogram, where let's say you have a photo of a design, you can input it there and you can ask it to be remixed. So let's say if I have a shirt design, let's say it's a picture of a lady with certain features, I can have it remixed 5 times, 10 times, and that version will be mine. And it will be uniquely mine. And I can already have it printed and have it made. So if I am into kawaii drawing, you know, the cute character drawing, I can do my own kawaii version and then put it in the system and have it be improved 10 times and I will have a final version. Or if I see something being implemented by another, let's say an owl figurine, and I would like to change it to a dog figurine, but following the same elements, I could just give it specific instructions also. So it's really changing the way we do our product designs. And with 3D tools now, I mean, 3D has really gone a long way, right? Like in the US, you now have 3D printed houses. You know, the whole house is made by 3D printers, although it's pumping out cement instead of the usual resin or ink. For market research, there are tools like Google Trends and ChatGPT. And I'm sure you've seen Canva already. And even the documentation tools right now. Before, when you use OCR, in the old days, when we use OCR, our intention is to only capture the data and put it on database. But now, when we use OCR, let's say you go to Chat PDF, if you haven't tried it, if you go to Chat PDF, you input a PDF, and then you can already start asking questions about the PDF. When you get a copy of this presentation, you can also input it in your Chat PDF or whatever AI tool that you're using, and you can start asking questions based on the presentations that you have received. For PMI, we use AI tools a lot. We use it for analyzing the data that we had for the past years and help us come up with analysis conjointly with other numbers coming from the PSA, from the Department of Labor, from BSP, from DTI, among others. And how do we make sense of all the numbers or all the data that we're looking at now? And before, you need to have a certain level of expertise to be able to do all of that. But now, even a new graduate can be trained to analyze. And of course, they have to be guided and be given pointers. But they'll be able to do that now today. Unlike before, you need to have a certain level of experience and maybe more studies before being able to carry it out. So where to start? If you want to implement AI in your organization or AI in your respective companies, it's important to assign an AI explorer in your team and pick a pain point to digitize. In the Kapatid Mentor Me program, I usually teach digitalization or supply chain management there. And usually there are several pain points that are often discussed. Either there's a pain point in product development, or maybe there's a pain point in inventory, or there's a pain point in financial management. Whichever that is, prioritize that pain point and work on it. No? And AI does not have to be expensive. You can use free tools that are available. If you are on Google Workspace, you can use Google Gemini. If you are a subscriber to Microsoft 360, you can use Microsoft Copilot. Of course, if you have Facebook, you can download Meta AI to get started. But ChatGPT is really cool. My husband recently visited his father in the US, and because of his age, he just goes out from time to time, but most of the time he's just in his room. So I told my husband that you have to let him use ChatGPT over the phone because you can talk to it. So if you don't have anyone to talk to, or just have someone to talk to and have someone to interact with, you can talk to your ChatGPT, give it a name and ask it to have assign an identity, and you can say, "Hi, how are you today?" And then, or you can prompt it, "I'd like you to ask me questions every day." You know, you can, and it can even record answers for you. And I told him that maybe we should give him an account so that they can upload also his medical, and it can help us in analyzing it. And using AI can also allow you to save a lot of time. I mean, gone are the days where, like for marketing, it would take us weeks or months to come up with a marketing plan. But nowadays, in just a week, or in just a few days, an hour, you can come up with something. Even building websites now, building applications, you can do it for a day. Google came up with the AI Studio, aistudio.google.com. If you have an app in mind, sometimes, di ba, you want to build an app, but no one is there to do it for you. You can now ask AI to do it for you, screen by screen, output per output. You can just say, this is the report. Picture it. I want to come up with this report. Build an app for me. What do you need from me? And then it will tell you what fields do you need. And you reverse engineer it. And tools can now do that for you. So you just have to learn how to do it. So I only have 5 minutes left, but let me show you some example applications. This is from Shortwave. This is an example of an email agent for smarter email replies. You've now seen this with Google Gmail giving you example replies, but there are now AI agents who will really analyze your emails and how you respond. What is your tone when responding to emails? And it will prompt and give response according to your tone. And you can also give it instructions so that it can respond for you or give you notifications into how will you respond. Like it can also create Zoom rooms for you, among others. And there are also AI tools that automation tools with AI features, like for pricing. In Amazon, in the Amazon world, this is very advanced. No, you have softwares like Helium and others where pricing can be automated, adjusting from competition. Pricing can also be adjusted based on how the competition is performing. Especially if you are competing in large platforms. Let's say you have a competitive positioning in Amazon or Alibaba or any other marketplaces, then you can have your pricing be automated and also track the pricing of your competitors. So that is possible. And in fact, they can even come up with custom descriptions. Sorry. And even for multilingual ad content, let's say I want to create an ad for a South Sea Pearl product ad. I will give instructions and then it will come up with a multilingual ad for me. An ad for US buyers, an ad for Japanese buyers, and even an ad for French buyers. I remember talking to an event speaker of ours who is in Japanese translation, and he was telling me that the accuracy of ChatGPT for Japanese translation has really improved, unlike before where they are not able to catch up with the norms or the intention of the message. But now it's more accurate than ever. And then after coming up with the text, you can now come up with a video. And then the video, you can use software like Runway. You just give the caption of the video, and then it will already create a video for you depending on the instructions that you have given. So let's say you want a girl to appear, among others. So it will appear for you. So let's move on to the next slide. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So there are challenges that we have to face when dealing with AI, So of course, there's the fear of tech and the cost. And yesterday, I was attending a seminar the other day at the Professional Directors Program of ICD. So they have a program for people who are preparing themselves or currently as directors of organization. And one of the questions that was asked is the readiness of Philippine boards for digital transformation, data transformation, and AI adoption. And a lot has been said that a lot of the boards today do not have tech-savvy people in their board. And it's not just about having a tech-savvy person in your board, but also elevating the board's awareness when it comes to digital transformation and AI adoption. Last year, at the PricewaterhouseCoopers that we really have to up the game because your competitors are already using artificial intelligence. The tools are there, but mindset is also very important. It's hard to say that we want to adopt AI, but we're not going to invest in training our people and in training our team members. So we encourage everyone to take that small step to get started. So with that, thank you so much for your time.